Welcome to History of Philosophy. Let's start the video. Hidden in the temples of Egypt were gardens, not just for beauty but for ritual. Ancient priests cultivated sacred plants known only to the inner circle: blue lotus, frankincense, myrrh. But there were others now lost to time used to awaken the soul. These were plant allies, messengers between the worlds. Brewed in secret, consumed during lunar ceremonies. They opened inner sight, triggered vivid dreams, and sometimes out-of-body experiences. The blue lotus, in particular, was known as the flower of enlightenment. It wasn't just fragrant, it was a mild psychoactive. When sipped as a tea or wine infusion, it relaxed the body and elevated the spirit. Priests would anoint themselves with oils infused with these sacred botanicals. As the scent rose, so did the vibration. It wasn't intoxication, it was activation. The Egyptians believed these elixirs allowed communication with the Neteru, the divine intelligences, often misunderstood as gods. Through plant consciousness, they bridged dimensions. Today, science calls this neurochemistry. But to the ancients, it was the language of the soul. The Book of the Dead, a title given by modern scholars, but its original name? The Book of Going Forth by Day, a manual for the soul, a roadmap through the afterlife. But here's the truth. It wasn't meant just for the dead. It was for the living, for those ready to awaken. Each spell, each symbol, each scene is a spiritual riddle. The heart weighed against a feather, the judgment by Osiris, the 42 confessions, not sins, but self-purification. These aren't just myths. They are metaphors for the inner journey. The crocodile-headed beast doesn't live in the afterlife. It lives in our fear, our greed, our unawakened mind. To pass the judgment is to master yourself. Modern mystics have studied these texts and found powerful parallels with Jungian psychology, with Tibetan death rituals, even with quantum ideas of non-local consciousness. What if the Book of the Dead was the world's first consciousness map, a guide not to die, but to awaken before death? Step into the temple of Karnak and whisper. You'll hear your voice travel in strange, haunting ways. The ancients knew what modern science now confirms. Sound changes matter. Deep in temple chambers, chants echoed in perfect resonance. Priests used specific tones, vowels, and mantras to create vibration fields, not just for music but for healing. These weren't random sounds. They were mathematically precise, tuned to earth, to body, to soul. Imagine a column of granite vibrating as a priest chants its sacred name. Imagine the cells in your body responding, realigning as the chamber sings. Some chambers, like in the Serapeum or Osirion, seem built to trap sound to amplify spiritual frequencies. Even hieroglyphs show priests raising their hands in silence, not to command, but to listen. In Egypt, silence was sacred, and sound was a doorway into resonance, into remembrance, into God. These weren't just secrets. They were codes passed down through symbols, temples, and rituals. Not to control, but to awaken. Ancient Egypt wasn't obsessed with death. It was obsessed with eternity. Not living forever in the body, but rising beyond it. The spiritual seeker was called the one who opens the eyes. And each of these 7 mysteries was a mirror. Not of gods in the sky, but gods within. You are the initiate now, walking the stone corridors of your own inner temple, and the voice that whispers is your own soul. Listen, remember, awaken,